Miami collection.
What do you say? Miami, 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 Miami.
Hey guys, my name is Dominic Flex and this is my latest concept. So my whole inspiration behind the concept was really my love for Miami. I love being there. I love the warm summer nights with the stars when you go out and the partying. Like that is just really the vibe that I love. And so I really wanted to do something that kind of like represented that. Also, Miami is known for its Art Deco architecture. That is just something that I really love and that I pulled from to basically create the rings. Let's just like dive into the designs. So the first one that we have is the Miami Starry Nights. This ring was really the cliche aesthetics of like palm trees and stars. For the palm trees, I actually made them a little bit more geometric. That's why they're a little bit more angular because I wanted to pull from that Art Deco scene. All of the gemstones that we used are tourmaline because my favorite gemstone is tourmaline. If you're not familiar with it, it's a stone that is really cool and it's also known for having a lot of like bicolored and tricolored properties, which basically means that you have stones that have like multiple colors within the same one, which is like really what I wanted to pull. Like the green stone in the flower ring, you can really see that kind of like blue green to lighter green shades, and that gives kind of like a tropical vibe to it, which I really love. Throughout the collection, I wanted to pull that kind of like Art Deco floral vibe. So basically, I don't know if you've ever been to Miami, but a lot of the houses are small and they have a lot of little dividers. And for those dividers, they tend to be patterns and not just standard fences. That's why underneath the ring on the inside of the band, you can see that there's this whole floral pattern. That is actually what I pulled it from, is those dividers. And so that is what we see also on the green flower ring. This is like a really cool way of finishing a ring, because a lot of times with much bigger rings, if you just leave them full, like fully gold, like not hollowed out, it can be really heavy. And it's not just like a cost thing, it's more of just like functionality. It's gonna be a little bit more comfortable, but also it gives you the opportunity to create this kind of pattern on the inside, which looks so classy and it looks so like refined and finished. And so that's why I kind of put this gate, because I didn't need to, but I really wanted to, just to make it like extra bougie. The flower ring is something that I wanted to make super airy and super breezy. That is why you have that kind of like floral pattern that we see again. The center stone is the green tourmaline and it just looks like you're diving into a pool. It's so dreamy. I really love how this one came out. Like it's really, when I'm wearing these rings, I feel like I am in my glam granny era. This is my vibe for the summer. Who gives a shit about hot girl summer? I'm going glam grandma. On the inside of every piece, there's the numbers engraved. So these are the originals, so they have 01 or diamond 1. So you don't see it on the Starry Night ring, but on the flower ring, if you turn it inside out, we actually made kind of like this traditional style of setting like you see in high jewelry. Let me just give you like a little breakdown. In fine jewelry, there's a lot of things that we have to consider when we're doing design. One of the things is that when you have, let's say, a diamond set in gold. So let's say this is my gold ring, like this. A lot of the times you'll see if you flip it underneath the diamond, there's going to be a hole. The reason why we have this hole is actually so that the light comes through it and brightens up the diamond. This is something really cool that you only see in high jewelry. And underneath right here, on the other side of the opening, stone setters traditionally would actually hand press the opening into the shape of a honeycomb. So it just creates the most beautiful finishing. It's so much more work, it's so much more labor intensive. That's why we don't really see it anymore. But this is something that's traditionally done in high jewelry, which is why we chose to do it in the floral ring. If you actually spin it upside down, all the diamonds along the shank, we created the honeycomb pattern. So yeah, it's very, very cool. That's why I feel like the honeycomb throughout the generations, we've always seen this pattern come back in jewelry. And that's just kind of like one of the cool things that we used to see in history. For the necklace, we actually use Spinel. Spinel I really love because it has a very high like brilliance to it. And so it's a really nice stone. They also come in like these really cute like pinks, pastel purples, lavenders. And so sometimes if you're looking for something that's very feminine and that's very sparkly, but not at the price point of necessarily like sapphire, sometimes Spinel can be a really good option. This one was actually designed for my mom, so that's why it's not exactly the same style, but it pulls like in the same concept. These rings are the kind of rings that I love to make. I like to do a lot of movements. It's really fun for me as a 3D designer to like build these rings up. So this is kind of like what it looks like when you're actually designing it in 3D. You have a lot more like flexibility than when you're designing it by hand. Once the jewelry is made, our job doesn't end there. Then we have to do kind of like the content creation, which is some of the funnest parts, honestly, is like seeing the pieces come to life and then like having them put on models. What we did was we rented this really cool studio. It was actually a little bit funny because I feel like it was like some sort of like illegal like gambling house. Like I'm not really sure, but like there was like whole gambling section in the back end, which was like really cool. So we got to shoot there. It was a lot of fun. We had a photographer, we had 2 models come in and a makeup artist. So we got a lot of good shots, and all in all, it was a really good wrap. So now it just comes down to like marketing. So that's kind of like the full process of seeing, you know, from the beginning, the concept design to like the jewelry design to like the marketing. Once the shoot is done, the very last step, which is not necessary, but I choose to do it, is we get the jewels appraised. So all of our Miami pieces come pre-appraised. So what is an appraisal? It's basically an authentication of the piece. So it's going to tell you all of the ingredients, you know, whether they're natural, synthetic, the weights, and also at the very bottom, the actual price of the piece. And so this really ensures that you're getting exactly what you think you're getting. And we chose to do this for all of our Miami collection because they are in a high jewelry. So I think it's just a little extra service that we want to do for our clients. All in all, this was a really fun project to do. We are going to be putting out concepts, little like micro collections every other month. So do follow along because we're going to be coming out with like crazier and crazier designs just for like my own enjoyment. If you do like them, they are down below. If not, follow us on Instagram so you stay tuned for the next drop. My name is Dominic Flex. Bye.